Hi, so my name's Nina and I'm a diabetes dietitian, and in this video we're going to discuss glycemic index, otherwise known as GI. Glycemic index shows us how quickly a carbohydrate food is broken down and absorbed by our body to make blood glucose levels rise after eating. So all carbohydrates will have a GI ranking between 0 and 100. So if we eat a food with a high GI, for example, jelly babies, this will be broken down very quickly and cause a sharp spike in our blood glucose levels. Whereas if you eat something with a lower GI, such as porridge, this will be broken down more slowly and have a more gradual effect on our blood glucose levels. Therefore, choosing low GI options can help control our blood glucose levels and can also help control our appetite. Fibre is one of the components that can help lower the GI of the foods that we eat. So now we're going to look at some examples of how we could include more low GI options in our diet. So if you have white bread, you could swap this to a granary, whole grain or seeded bread, which will have a lower GI. Instead of having a low fibre cereal like cornflakes or Rice Krispies, you could swap this to something with more fibre, for example, porridge. Instead of having mashed potato, you could swap this to a potato with the skin on, like new potatoes or jacket potatoes, and even sweet potatoes will contain more fibre. Instead of having your standard short grain rice, swapping this to a long grain or basmati rice. Pasta and noodles naturally have a low GI, therefore you just need to be careful on the portion that you're having. Using your fist as a guide, this can help control the portion size at meal times. So to help lower the GI of the meals that we eat, we should aim to balance our meals with healthy fats, protein and fibre from vegetables. So for example, in this meal, you've got your sweet potatoes, which are the carbohydrates, but sweet potato is a high fibre carbohydrate and the skin is left on the potato, which again increases the fibre. You have some vegetables, which add further fibre, and you've got some salmon, which contains healthy fat and protein. So this meal overall will have a low GI. So although GI is a beneficial factor to consider with diet and diabetes, it's important to remember that it's the portion size of the carbohydrate that we're eating that's going to have the greatest impacts on blood glucose levels, and therefore you should focus on this before looking at the GI of the foods that you're eating. Also, just because a food has a low GI, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a healthy option. For example, chocolate would have a low GI because it's high in fat. But if you ate lots of chocolate, your diet would become unbalanced and high in fat. Therefore, you can't just focus on GI. So in summary, to help lower the GI of your diet, which can help control blood glucose levels, you should opt for higher fibre carbohydrates where possible, looking out for words like whole grain, and consider where the fibre is in the carbohydrate that you're eating, for example, leaving the skin on the potatoes. You should aim to balance your meals with protein, healthy fats, and vegetables or salads. And it's important to remember that before focusing on the GI, you need to make sure that you're eating the right portion of carbohydrates. For more information on this, go to our portion size video.